Hi everyone, this is Francisco, recording this video here um, to share what what could aspire if, I repeat, if there was ever a if there was ever a natural disaster, like a humongous one, because I mean, I'm bringing this up for a reason, okay? So just bear with me. You guys will understand it later on. Um, but I mean, I could give you guys a quick summary, like a spoil alert type of thing. Basically, it's, you know, what if there was a huge natural disaster? Because yesterday I was watching this space, and they're hunting for rocks in space. So they're meteorites. And I was thinking, because one of the guys said, if this meteorite hit planet Earth, it would like completely wipe, like basically like everything out. And he said that everything in the world would get blanketed with black smoke and dust, and it would get dark. Um, so I started thinking about that, and I thought, you know what? Well, because of that, it could lead us back to the Stone Ages. Okay, so it could point us back to the Stone Ages, and this, when I was going to school, this is what we studied. Okay, surviving out there in the wild, making spears and knives and protecting oneself, and all these crazy concepts about survival, and oh yeah, and then they were trying to figure out how the pyramids were created. Pyramids. So they're constantly talking about the pyramids while I was growing up as well, and they were like openly discussing how um these pyramids were built by slaves building the pyramids. Okay, so there it is. So basically, um this is what we understood, when we were growing up, but we know that's not true now they know that it was like cement and stuff like that, just like, someone would build a bridge. It's not just magically there. you know um it takes time. It requires tools and a lot of wisdom and knowledge, and cement, and a ton of other resources, and a huge number of people. Okay, so I was thinking, what if the world were to get hit like that again? Well, not again, but I guess imagine if the world got hit by a meteorite, or a huge earthquake, or a volcano, or something happened in today's time and age, in the 20th century, where we would all be forced to go back and live in the Stone Ages. So this is pretty much like a documentary um discussing this stuff. Okay, like this could actually be turned into a movie. Um and I think it's good for educational purposes, to educate people who might not be interested in school. Firstly, secondly, um for people who are not educated, and they don't want to learn anything and they think life is a joke. So this type of documentary or movie would be good for them because it will give them a wake up call. Because we wouldn't have AI technology. You know, assumably, we wouldn't have AI technology. Whatever is keeping those satellites and the ISS activated and functioning. And not just that, but there's wear and tear over time. And if we were to drop the population, because right now the world population is like about 8 or 10 billion people. Okay, so right there it says 7.8 billion, and look at this. It's just a constant growth. Everything's at a constant growth rate. Okay, we don't see this number fluctuating whatsoever. Okay, so this is something that all of us need to take seriously. And these people in the movie or that video I was watching, it was on YouTube. Rock hunting. It was like a space documentary. I think it's this one, finding space rocks. I think it might be this one. Well, I don't know. I don't know honestly if it's that one. Let me see here. Oh yeah, this one. The space. Um. The hunt for space rocks or something like that. Yeah, JPL and the Space Age, the hunt for rocks. And I like the video. I don't know why it's not showing a like there. I don't know why this is not pausing either. So yeah, this is very disappointing because I thought I liked it yesterday and now it's not showing that I liked it. So that's a real um that's a real disappointment. It should have been like this. But anyways, so I was watching that video and the scientists are dedicated to do this type of work every single day. They actually dedicate their lives to this stuff for potential asteroids that could hit Earth, planet Earth. So they're studying this and they're trying to figure out ways to prevent this if in the event that a asteroid will come and possibly hit planet Earth. So they could be prepared for it and they could know how to combat it because they could be like it could be a potential threat. You know that those meteorites. So that's why they do this type of work. Okay. So I was just thinking, it's also true with this idea that I'm discussing because what if the world were to lose, let's say 90% of the people or even 99% of the people or 99.9 of the people. So like let's say like just one percentage or something like that was to survive. Survive and stay behind on planet Earth. Then I think that honestly I think it would be very complicated and difficult for people to explain this to newborn children without the internet. Imagine that. Imagine starting all over. And earlier I said the statement, "Oh, the world is not as forgiving as God." And I actually wanted to create a post that about that. Because we always look at God as a forgiving God. And God created the world. But the world is not. So I just thought it would be a great quote. The world is not as forgiving as God. And I like to put unknown, like the unknown, like an unknown author, to make it seem like someone very wise and popular created this, even though I'm not popular and wise. The world is not as forgiving as God. And I'm also I want to post it again. But I want to create one of these things with a black background. Or, Facebook allows you to choose purple or red. I just like the black one, personally. And then hopefully it doesn't complain because I already created a post like that. This status update is identical to the last one you posted. Try posting something different or delete your previous update. Oh, I'm Facebook staff and we're so sensitive about people posting the same thing. Fucking bitches. Okay, there it is. The world is not as forgiving as God. Even though God created it, you guys are giving God way too much fucking credit. Okay, and there's actually seed banks. Seed banks, and I was just thinking, what if? What if a a huge number of the world population were to just to die, and and let's say if you think you would be one of the survivors, how would you feel about having such a heavy burden, such a huge responsibility upon your hands when it comes to all these seeds? Imagine that. And I was thinking that these seeds should have a dog collar identification description. So I actually created my own dog collar, and it has the RR for Rolls Royce. Okay, and I put a quarter in the back to keep it down, weighted. Okay, but I made it myself. You know, this right here is only like $1. So I don't know if you guys see me around wearing this. If I don't know if you guys think like, ooh, this guy's rich or whatever, but I'm not. I'm actually poor. Okay, like the documentary of Walt Disney. Poor man trying to make money, and he created Disney. You know, something like that. But anyway, so imagine, yourself in the world, and then everyone's dead except like a small percentage of people. I mean, this doesn't even go into mathematics, the English language, communication, education. It doesn't go into science, the laws of gravity, the knowledge of fire, the freaking technology to see the weather conditions. It's not even going into airplanes. It's not even talking about and getting into vehicles, lawnmowers, and all the technologies and inventions you people can imagine and think about, So, anyways, I thought about a dog collar for... These were used for soldiers to identify who they were in the event that they were dead, or if they burnt. This is an interesting one. If they burned alive, this piece of metal wouldn't, I repeat, it wouldn't melt. Okay, so these dog collars are super important. So I was thinking that for the seed bank stuff, I think there should be dog collars that have icons, little icons of water, icon, empty, or full, like identifier. So as an an identifier. Okay? So this will basically um, educate people regarding the seed. So, one might not understand what a seed is. Like a corn seed. I know what a corn seed looks like. I could identify a corn seed. Um, for chilies as well. Um, I think tomato seeds look the same like chili seeds. So like in a like in the event that there is a disaster, um I think that having the dog collar within these seeds and having these icons, because it's not just about the water. Okay, so figuring out what would allow people to know if that particular seed needs 100% water as opposed to a drought tolerant plant or drought tolerant seed. um and when we go to Home Depot and Lowe's, the same is true when we select plants. The plants have like a little thing that like a little sign that says full sunlight, 6 through 8 hours a day of sunlight. you know so I think that's also important. Okay, and from what I see here, I don't see that. It looks like there's a bank card here. I mean, I'm sorry, like a business card. It has a number that's classified for each seed. But other than that, that's all I see. I don't see any metal plates on these seeds whatsoever, which is an issue, which is a problem. So I think that, for the greater good of humanity, those stamped um, identifiers should be created, as well as a description that will show people who are not like agrarily educated in farming, so they can understand how to go about it. Um, because I mean, think about it. If, like I said, if everyone passed away except a small percentage of people, a lot of focus would have to be, a lot of attention would have to be focused on more important matters, while the younger generation is growing up, and basically teaching them um, all these basic elementary fundamentals of education. you know while these professionals are trying to figure out how can we communicate like we were before, with our smartphones. How can we, cause this to work again? Um, and then, and even if someone is fully focused on that, but they start dying, they develop skin cancer or a disease. After a while, all that stuff, they won't be able to focus. They won't be able to focus on that any longer. Even though they will have a strong reason to continue and to want to push this stuff and to get as much information out to people, and to push the envelope, it would be complicated for people who were living in this time, and then getting forced to the Stone Ages and teaching younger kids, their kids, their own kids, their children, and people who survived, the survivors, these basic educational fundamentals, like, here we go again. Like, this is a waste of time. Like, is this even worth it? Or should I just go and hide under a rock for the rest of my life? So, this is very important. And I think that someone like professionals out there, like Hollywood or whatever, you people who make movies, movie producers, I think you guys can create a movie like this. Um, that way, like I said, for people who don't take life seriously, that way they could be like, fuck, like, this movie's a fucking trip as they're watching it. So they could be like, wow, this movie's a fucking trip. This is crazy. And it will cause them and force them to think about how good they have it in this life right now. We have running water, we have electricity. If we need money, all we have to do is go get a job. There's nothing complicated about it. Everything is basically handed down to us. But if we go back to the Stone Ages, all that would change in a split second. We're talking about um, creating baskets, water containers, and a bunch of other things. A lot of you are complaining that there's a lot of plastic pollution, bottles everywhere and stuff like that. And I know how to spell pollution. I just, for some reason, it got messed up over here as I was typing. So, yeah. So it says right here, polluted by single-use plastic. Okay, so I mean, after a while, this will be a treasure. This would be um, very useful and highly treasured. What we consider trash won't longer be considered trash. It would be considered um, very valuable. And I mean, even a museum or museums would be most likely created to preserve these artifacts, because people won't even understand how plastic is created. They won't even understand how a lot of these inventions are created. I don't even know how, like, all these inventions are created, and what it requires to make them and manufacture them. There's just so many things at stake. Um, so that's why, and like I said in the beginning of the video, I gave you guys a quick summary of what this video will be like, about, regarding, and in previous videos, I have described to all of you the possibility that AI technology already existed, that we and that we have learned how to interact with it. And I shared how there could potentially be a supercomputer out in space that was once humanity's. And if we tap into that, we could uncover, what I would consider Pandora's box. And I don't even know what Pandora's box is, but I would assume that it's a bunch of treasures and riches. So let's look into that. Pandora's box, meaning. Pandora's box is a metaphor that describes something that causes trouble or misfortune, but also holds hope. For example, revising the tax code is opening a Pandora's box. Well, whatever. Basically, that would be the truth. It would be a Pandora's box. We would uncover truths about humanity that we never understood. We would see the world we would see a completely different world. How, and a lot of you people might think, well, how would that look like? Well, we have the pyramids. And a lot of you might debate, well, what is Francisco talking about? What is he referring to? What does he mean that the internet could be, like, AI technology could be out there in the universe somewhere? And how, like, basically, I think if we ever discovered it, we would be able to see the pyramids and everything that was built around it. Like with real photos. Like a forest. Like a forest photo. A beautiful forest photo. Because in the past, when I was growing up, there was some photos, but they were black and white. There were some colors, some color. There were some TVs. But, like, with the cell phones and everything, all this is new to us. Okay, so So that's what I mean by a photo. You know, like in when we were growing up, everything was described to us as best as possible. So that's how it would be for the survivors. We would have to explain to them all of this that we see around us as best as possible. And even that wouldn't cover, like the whole dictionary. Dictionary with all the dictionary words and everything. All right, it would just be impossible for us to cover every single word, for us to instill that wisdom and knowledge into people all over again. And before all of this, there was the scrolls, right? And the pyramids, there's also hieroglyphics. Let me just say that. Voice search. Hieroglyphics. There's also oh yeah, squirrels in a in a jar. I was trying to think of the word clay, but it didn't come to me soon enough, quickly enough. So it's looking for a squirrel, like an animal squirrel, but that's not what I'm referring to. I'm referring to a squirrel clay jar. So this is how people would preserve the manuscripts back at the time, back in history. So they were obviously attempting to pass down information to us humans. This could have said anything. This could have been. I believe. Why would someone go out of their way to safeguard this type of information? It obviously meant something. It obviously means something. So we would be stuck back at that time again. We would be the ones creating these clay jars and writing stuff on paper in the hopes that future generations will later discover it, and they will make sense of the information within it. That type of thing. Um so imagine like everything all over again. So there would be every single business starting from the ground up, including the military, including all the divisions, including all the tribes and people going at it over ignorant things, over foolishness, over things that they can't seem um, to squash. They just want to have a rivalry. They want to go to war. They don't want to bite their tongue. They they would prefer to just go and slaughter themselves. All that all over again. Without today's inventions, without everything. And while the people, the families that were taught firsthand regarding these former inventions and how the world was like, and them having a general knowledge of cell phones and electricity and the structure and the economy of the world and all this other stuff, um, it would be mind-boggling. It would be almost impossible for them to understand everything. But they would be in the military, and they would have the right to incarcerate people, to kill people, especially ignorant ones, wannabe game bangers, low life game bangers, people who just want to cause trouble. They would be the first ones to fucking die. You know, if we were back in the Stone Ages, like, you know what, bro? You don't want to, get with the program. Like, what are we going to do with you? You just want to steal. You want to live a good life. You don't want to work. You don't want to partake in making this life into restoring what our ancestors once knew, because that's what they would be talking about. And it's interesting because there was the Maui fire. And so there was the Maui fire, and it killed like 2,000 people. 2,000 people were declared missing. So all of these structures and homes burnt like that in less than 24 hours. All that was like it never even existed. Okay, there's other natural disasters. There's earthquakes. Earthquakes that cause the most damage. Let's look at some images regarding these earthquakes. See that? It's a wasteland. Yeah, we have the plumbing, we have the electricity, we have like a lot of stuff there, but without the people, with all this chaos, it's like nothing. It equals to nothing. The tsunamis. Look at this. Look at this. It looks like a tsunami hit this. It looks like a tsunami hit this portion, this section of the world here. So that's also something to think about and to consider. Like, you people think this is a joke? You people think this is funny? I don't know what you people are thinking about, but you need to get those thoughts out of your minds. There's the worst caused damage due to a volcano. And I was just watching like a video on YouTube, and there was like literally molten lava going over a Dodge Ram. I think it was a Dodge Ram car. Volcano ash going on top of Camaro car. Well, it wasn't like ash like this. It was actually molten lava. Molten lava. Yeah, this one. It's a Mustang. Whatever, Mustang. This is the one I was referring to. And this lava is literally going on top of the vehicle, and then the vehicle catches on flames. And what is this? Dark Vader? So you guys can see, like, yeah, the flames. I mean, you guys have to watch this for yourselves online, but it's crazy. Oh, and wherever this molten lava is, after a while, um, we will look at it like a hill. We won't even be able to remove all this to see what's underneath, like the roads and all that. Unless we're using machinery. Like the cat, yeah, like the bulldozers and all that. So, I mean, it would be complicated to pass all this information to the new generation, to the new generations, right? And and going back to all this other information, like these scrolls, I mean these hieroglyphics. Um, maybe they thought about something like this. Maybe this was some type of like a seed bank idea back in the day. Maybe they thought, wait, what if everything were to go to shit? How are we going to pass this knowledge and wisdom down to people once again? So maybe that's what this is. It's possible. Um, and even to this day, we're still trying to figure out what all these symbols mean, what they're communicating. As far as I know, we're still trying to figure out what this stuff is all about. Okay. Oh yeah, and I pulled up the dictionary stuff and the scrolls because this books didn't look like this back in the day. It was a squirrel inside a squirrel inside a squirrel 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 a squirrel squirrel a squirrel inside of a clay jar and it was preserved information. Um, and yeah, that's why I thought about the like this. Look at this. But I don't know if people will figure that out, like what this means. I mean, it makes sense to us, but yeah, I just don't know. I really don't know. But that's why I think that this deserves more consideration, especially when it comes to AI technology, because it's self-learning. It's self-learning. We are able to cause the vehicles to drive themselves. We as a human race. So that's just the power of the human mind. So imagine, and I heard that we as humans we only use 10% of our brains, like the smartest people. How much percentage does the smartest person alive use? I try to use a question mark at the end of this, but it didn't allow me to. So I'm going to do that again. It says right here, look at Cura, whatever. Do the smartest people really only use 10% of their brain? It says generative AI, the generative AI results, it says, according to scientists and psychologists, humans only use about 10% of their brain power. However, there's no scientific evidence to support this myth. The idea that humans only use 10% of their brain is a popular pseudoscience. I don't know what that word is. Myth. It's mentioned in the preface to the, I don't know what that word is, to the 1936 edition of Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People. Some say that Albert Einstein was the source of this myth. The myth is also a pet idea of science fiction writer and editor John W. Campbell. In a 1932 short story, he wrote that no man in all history ever used even half of the thinking part of his brain. The size of the brain has nothing to do with intelligence. Now, I'm just saying, I'm bringing this up because maybe these people in the past were trying to get us to think. Maybe they were trying to make us realize, like, hey, you guys are not even using 10% of your brain. You guys think you're so smart? You think you people know everything? And I'm not talking shit. When we look at AI self-driving vehicles, this proves it. This proves that that we're using a higher percentage of our brain. But to what degree are we humans now using, more like 15% of our brains? Are we using 20%? It's possible, right? That we're using like 20% of our brains. Um, and there's also the robo vac, which is the robo vacuums. I knew I was spelling it incorrectly, but anyway, there's the robo vacuums, and they sweep the homes all by themselves. And this was almost like science fiction not that long ago. Straight the fuck up. This is not a joke. People are dying every single day. There's accidents everywhere. And all you people have to do is be good, be loving towards one another, and conduct business like responsible adults. And other than that, you won't be in prison for the rest of your life. Like some of these knuckleheads murdering people and going around raping people, whatever the case may be, where they end up in jail. You people don't even have to go and survive anymore. Like survival mode. All you people have to do is behave yourselves. Go to school, get a good education, and be respectful. And all you have to do is go online and you can order this right now. You don't ever have to mop your house or sweep your house ever again for only $150. And I'm going to stay quiet for a second to let this information that I just briefly said to to penetrate deep in your brains. All right. Yeah. So yeah, people. That's pretty much all I really wanted to share with all of you. You know. Um. So there's definitely a lot of information. Um. We're going. If we look into. Uh. Well, I guess if you guys just look into the life of Elon Musk. Not that you guys need to look at his life, but just all the stuff that he has um done, and everything that he is doing, and everything that he will continue to do for like ever. Through his businesses, uh, um, like Neuralink. I mean, just that word alone, just this one word alone, opens a mind. I mean, opens. I was gonna say a can of worms, but it opens a whole new door of adventure, of possibilities, of um, just this one word alone is like a whole new paradigm in the Matrix. Okay, like it's very in depth information, but it's simple, straightforward stuff. But without computers, without technology, none of this stuff would be possible. I think so. There's a lot of information to learn. It says Elon Musk wants to link brains directly to machines. So yeah, that's going to be um you know something that that that's drastically going to change the way that we think, the way that we thought about each other, um, and a bunch of other things. And that's not even going into like Elon Musk with SpaceX. You know, in case any of you thought this was getting fucking gay for a second. You know, this is not a fucking joke. This is not you know, a comedian fucking show. This is real life. You know, we're talking about rockets and future exploration, and you know, if something like that were to happen, all of the experiments that are getting conducted right now in space would basically be um they would basically be put on 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 halt. You know, there would be technically, I think some of the stuff will still be going on out there in space because they're programmed to do that. Like the satellites and the um, you know, the telescopes and whatever else is in space, like the Starlink and all that. I think it would still be out there, but we as a human race, we just wouldn't be able to access that information or to learn how to access that information. So that's just the importance of working as a team. That's the importance of 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 all of us working together, like as a human race. And I can see why they don't have any tolerance for ignorance, for gangs, for murderers and thieves and people who are breaking the law, and why they created prisons, and why they sentence people to death. There's just so much at stake here, so much going on, and I think that there's still way more for us to learn and for us to discover. Um, and I've even created a video talking about how we should be focusing on these robots. Elon Musk again, with Tesla.com / AI. They're thinking about developing these robots, and I just like on a small scale, but for each human being. And I already showed you guys the I already shared with you guys the world population, and it's at 8 through 10 billion people. So if things go according to plan, that means that these companies will be manufacturing these robots by the billions, like almost overnight. Um, so that's going to um, push for more um, of a demand for rare earth elements. So we're going to be looking at the periodic table. And we're going to need more iron, more copper, you know, more energy, more um of a food production. We're going to need, a ton of other things. Um, more satellites, more Starlink satellites, um, to um, to be able to handle all of these robots that are planned to be created. And, and I think that's going to open more job opportunities for people to to go mine, yeah, mined for these natural resources. um it's going to be like a demand. They're gonna require it and need it more than any time in history, world history. All right. So yeah, this is just food for thought, and it's coming. I mean, they're already talking about it. They're already, if you guys scroll down, the same technology that is used for self-drivable vehicles is actually going to be used for these AI robots. So there's a ton of work for the highly educated, and for those who are incapable of learning for whatever reason, even if it's a result of some type of mental issue or mental health issue, or if they might have a learning disability, whatever the case may be. Maybe they have a disease, maybe Um, something is preventing them from learning. But if you guys are doing any type of manipulation and telling the world, "Oh, these people over here are they're just retarded," just because you people want to live good and happy, you think you're living good and happy as long as you're oppressing other people and keeping people down and forcing other people into slavery. If any of you people out there are doing that unto people, this is the time to repent. Because this is not a joke. And the government is not joking around either. This goes out more towards to the people who are like in prison, who are like in politics, trying to fuck people over. You people need to watch out because we have AI technology, you know, and the government created it because a lot of you are just out there fucking around, thinking the world belongs to you, thinking it's all about you and your families. But in reality, um, everyone matters. Everyone in the world matters. Um, and AI technology is going to later discover who you people are, and you people will get incarcerated for your scandalous actions and accusations and oppression and whatever you guys are doing to people because you're jealous, because you think you're better than judges, you think you're better than the system, you think, oh, this person fucked me over, this person wronged me, so now I'm going to get vengeance the best way I know. And yeah, the government might not know about it right now, but they will find out about it eventually. So you guys could do this all day long. You people can do this all day long. But at the end of the day, that's not helping anyone. You know, the best way for us to really work as a human race together, including every single country, regardless of what you people might be beefing it about. We're all smart. We're all capable of working. We're all capable of, you know, doing something productive, something smart, something to benefit the greater good of humanity. Um, you know, it's going to take. It's going to require all of us doing this. Um, that's why I'm not for all this United States of America stuff as opposed to other countries. I don't care about that anymore. I'm far beyond that now. I'm looking at, you know, what the ISS is doing. That's why I pulled it up. The International Space Station. And there's a few countries, people working together. And you guys can see it by their flags. I think this guy's wearing the United States flag. This guy's wearing the Mexican flag. And I don't know what these other flags are. Oh yeah, this is the United States as well. And then there's this one and this one. But I don't know. But I know that there's Russia and China and, you know, the United States of America. I see like a Mexican flag. Um, so there's other countries. I think even Canada is involved with the ISS, and every country is welcome to partake in it. I think. Um, so yeah. So I'm on that level. If any of you little peons want to piss all over me, and you're not even on this level, you better watch your back. Like the little bitches that you are. Because I'm not fucking around, and I'm not afraid to die. And, and I sure as hell do not want to get old living in this stupid house, living this stupid life over and over and over, just to survive, just to eat another meal for the next day. Fuck all this shit. I think I was meant and created for greater things. So therefore, I'm called to to more responsibility. So therefore I'm liable for, and I believe that I am um what's what's the word? I am um like I should be pre-approved for some more money and a raise and everything you people can think about. That's the way I see it. Um, and if I'm not taken care of in that way, it's like, this country, the United States of America, is doing itself a dishonor by not assisting me, by not helping me. Because there's a lot of Americans out there in the world, and they're richer than I am, and they're bragging about it. And all they do is sit in their asses and rap about, whatever's going on, like in their backyards, on the streets. And and I'm struggling, and I don't want to struggle. I don't want to think about money. I don't want to think about how the fuck am I going to afford the gas for my vehicle. How am I going to afford the electricity to power my new Tesla? I don't want to be thinking about these little things anymore. Um, and I think the only it's like creating a website. What I'm doing is like creating a website. I don't need to start a fucking business. I don't need to hire all kinds of people. Um, you know, but if I do, it's all through the internet. I could be living. I, I could be living in fucking in the on the moon. I could be living in Antarctica. I could be living in the middle of the desert, and I could be doing what I'm talking about. I don't need, like Eminem said, I don't need people following me around And you know all the shit that he talks about in his music. I don't need that. There's a little fly flying around here. Oh, I'm trying to see it so I can kill it. But it's flying around here somewhere. It's a little guy. But anyways, uh, um, so yeah, there's just a ton of information. Um, and I just can't believe that I'm getting treated like a child, and I'm getting paid under $20 an hour. So there's definitely no problems, no issues with me. If there's any issues and problems, it's with the government. You know, the people over me or whatever. You know, you people want to invest in something. You people want to invest in something that will change the world. You know, you guys are looking for the next business to invest in. You guys are looking for the next person to invest in, to confide in, to trust in, to believe in. I'm telling you guys. You know, like I mentioned, I said, what if AI technology was already invented? It was already created, and there's a computer out there in the universe with more knowledge and wisdom. Obviously, the only entity that will be able to access those files is AI technology, because it's self learning. So if anyone or anything's ever going to reveal that information to us, is going to be AI technology. Um, because it's like I shared already, and this is very important. I mentioned it's like if if there was some type of accident, like let's say for instance, if God decided to flood the world again, let's let's take for instance that God changed his mind, or, or its mind, and decided to flood the world again. Like Noah and the ark. Um, Even though God promised that He would never flood the world again, let's assume that um that something like that were to happen again. Um, um, and you know we um lost everything, and but like there's still some companies out there like the like SpaceX. You know this the SpaceX factory, whatever. You know the that that business SpaceX facilities. You know, let's say there's still some SpaceX facilities. Okay, now even if we were to see a space a rocket or even a jet or something like that, like or even like a tank, you know, like even you guys pull up like 1,000 different inventions that like a submarine, like something that it would take years of learning, years of education to learn how to operate and how to under, understand everything. Um, we wouldn't honestly, we wouldn't even be able to. We wouldn't even know how to. We as a human race, we wouldn't even know how those things work. We wouldn't know how to access those files. So that's what I mean when I'm talking about when I'm discussing all this stuff. It would just be impossible, and that's what I'm referring to when I say that there could be a supercomputer out in the universe somewhere. It doesn't mean, even though we can't see it, it doesn't mean that it's not there. And, and if it is there, that doesn't mean we don't have access to it. It just means that we don't know how to access it. Okay, so there's a huge difference. And that's what I'm saying. It, it is possible that AI technology will be able to tap into that source of wisdom. Okay? Um, Not just that, but let's say that that doesn't even exist. Okay? We could rule that out. But let's say that there's other um there's more people in other planets in in this whole universe of ours. Um and AI technology figured out a way to communicate with other AI with other AIs, um, and, and basically more people who are interacting with the internet. So if there's more people out there in the universe like us, people like us, and they're doing the same type of things, they have a similar um, format of doing things. They have airplanes, they have lights, maybe they even have other inventions that we never even heard of. So if that's the case, then AI technology will be able to use that information to teach itself, to learn, to interact with that, mess around with it, like a kid, messing around and playing with all sorts of toys. You know, or like even as adults, we have so many inventions, and people have used them in good ways, the ways that they were intended to be used, and they have used them in ways that are unlawful for people to use them. So if we gave AI technology the freedom and the capabilities of interacting with these inventions that we have never interacted with, or discovered, or even thought of, if we gave AI the freedom to interact with these inventions and thoughts before we can imagine, just imagine what AI technology can do with those concepts. Okay? I mean, just just one element of the periodic table, you know, I, I don't even know what baron means. Okay, but let me see what happens when I click on it. It says boron is a chemical element. It has symbol B and atomic number 5. And atomic number 5. It is crystalline form. In its crystalline form, it is a brittle, dark, lustrous metalloid metalloid, and its amorphous form is a brown powder. As the lightest element of the boron group, it has 3 valence electrons for forming covalent bonds, resulting in many compounds such as boric acid, the mineral sodium borate. That looks really nice, by the way. And the ultra hard crystals of boron carbide and boron nitride. And I don't know, there's just so much information. What the fuck, man? There's something fucking with my hair. My scalp. I think there's a flea in here, or a fly. The word boron was coined from borax, the mineral from which it was isolated by analogy with carbon, which boron resembles chemically. So borax is a cleaning agent, as far as I know. Borax for like pans and other stuff. But anyways, yeah. So like we can start talking about this stuff and how it's applied. What's good? What is good for? What is not good for? What type of sicknesses, if it can cure or, or not cure. Um, and how it can be applied, and a bunch of other things. And we can talk about the food industry, like what types of food have this element. These are nature's truth, triple action, boron, complex. So it's a vitamin. Okay, so this is something that we consume. Okay, so this is just one element. Imagine interacting with everything in the world. Every single every single um element in the world. Bone support, boron. Okay, so that's my point. That's my whole point with this. Okay? So just bear with me. Um so like if AI technology is capable. Sorry, I just seen something flying here. This is crazy. Oh, I hate when I'm recording and then I start seeing little bugs flying around. Um, universe. So I mean, you guys have to study the universe to understand the expanse of it, or try to understand the expanse of it. Uh, um, and as far as I have understood and learned or learnt or whatever, um, learnt. I don't know if that's like past tense or no? It's definitely not past tense. It would be like future tense. Learned because I already learned it. I didn't just learn it yesterday or right now. So I don't know. Anyways, I'm still learning. So there could and even in the internet, if you guys type in similar um similar what the fuck man, there's definitely a freaking flea in here, mosquito. Similar planet Earths. So it says among the 2,000 planets, the Kepler mission discovered three super Earth-sized planets: Kepler 62F, Kepler 62E, and Kepler 62C in the habitable zone of their stars. Each of the three planets is less than twice the size of Earth, and that's just as far as we can see, as far as we can scan. However you people want to word it. When we are um, when we are looking at all of the galaxies in the universe. I don't even know what would be the best um, picture for that, but maybe this one. I think maybe this will be the best um, example. Man, maybe it's just my hair. I need to go shower. But anyways, yeah, this is just some stuff to really think about for all of you out there, in case this world goes to shit one day. Well, other than that, um, that's all I wanted to share. So I hope you guys um like this video, share it, talk about it, make your own, make it better, create a movie, interact with it or don't. Doesn't really matter to me.